Acolytes. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. One of the best effing games ever made. As I see it, at least. Because, well, I love it so much that I actually plan to play it after its full release, only when I stream it. It's not the first stream, Acolytes. I streamed before for 2 times, but time. As always, Acolytes. But the thing is, Tainted Grail, a freaking masterpiece. And Scouter V will probably just say the same thing. And by the way, female-male options. It already starts beautifully. So, let's just start.
My dudes, get your lubes. The gaming gods finally came down to bless us all. And this time it's an open world indie game called Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. Wait, what?
Hell yeah.
You haven't played it yet? Take a whiff, my dudes.
By the way, if you like games like that, or even if you don't, that's irrelevant, play it. Why? Because it's just a fun effing... It shouldn't, by the way, because a lot of people are actually graphic HOs, and this game is just beautiful. It's just so well made. Okay, I'm gonna... Fine.
That's the smell of quality. We've been eating good this year with open world games. The Oblivion remaster wasn't that bad, even though they took away the jugs. It's fine because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had more than enough to make up for it. But back to Tainted Grail. This game feels like something similar, but different at the same time. Kind of like when you only date Asian girls. If I had to sum it up, it's like the Elder Scrolls and the Gothic series combined, but with a dark fantasy vibe like Elden Ring. Overall, the game slaps. It slapped so hard it was giving me flashbacks of my crazy ex-Korean girlfriend. But just like most crazy exes, this is a game that you just can't put down until you finish.
Fair enough, yes. And it's surprisingly that way. As I said, I didn't expect this.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I love you for that. Love her.
In full transparency, this game was created by a company called Awakened Realms, and they reached out to me last month and said, based on your channel, we are making a highly educated guess that you will enjoy Tainted Grail. At first
And by the way, this guy got the freaking, how is it called, the 200 euro thing where you just get a lot of stuff for free. I am so jealous of him. I am so effing jealous of him. It's... fair enough. I am of course happy for him. That's not even a question. He deserves it. He does really good stuff. But I'm also extremely jealous that he actually got the freaking package with everything in it, like the game, a statuette, a lot of stuff.
thought this was some kind of scam from India, so I was a bit skeptical. Do you want to play our game? This is because looking at my channel, you'd probably think I'd be mostly into weeb hentai games, which I promise I'm not. But my Steam account is in the video description if you want to send me any. I won't turn them down. So after a bit of back and forth and without any promises to make content for the game, I got a free key. But what came next was shock, because I couldn't believe that I'd never heard of the game before. And no, they aren't paying me a cent. I'm just as poor as ever. So believe me when I say this. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon has to be one of the best open-world first-person RPGs I've ever played. The first thing I noticed was that the immersion starts to take effect right at the character creation menu. I got to make a male character, and not some confused body type 1 individual. Is this a big deal? Hell yeah, it is. It means that even though this is a game that takes place in a fantasy world, it was built from the ground up using common sense. The developers had full and total creative freedom here, and this game's gonna have more testosterone than the finalists of a women's esports tournament. You see, unlike modern AAA companies.
Yeah, and by the way, I forgot to mention, I played it since the very first time it released on Steam. I saw the potential instantly. I played the card game that actually came out before this. Yes, I go this far back with this game. Loved it.
Awakened Realms made a game for a specific audience and understood that a game made for everybody is a game made for nobody. No boob cider though. Come on people, it's 2025 now. No one cares about a bunch of journalist shits having fits over big tits. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. I'm not gonna spoil the story
Fair
in this
enough.
video, but the game is based on Arthurian lore, which always goes hard, and I don't know why we don't see more media based on it. Don't believe me? What's the best Disney movie? Bam! The Sword in the Stone. Quick nerd test. What's the strongest summon in Final Fantasy VII? Oh snap, Knights of the Round Table. And get this, before WoW launched and MMO started going mainstream, I was already no-lifing a game called Dark Age of Camelot. And if you do know about it, I'm a dirty alb, and I'll say it proudly. So when it comes down to open world RPG games, I usually play as some sort of stealth class, sneaking around and stealing everything. So I went ahead and made a dark elf. His name...
Fair enough. By the way, I play in this game specifically. There is a fantasy that I do not get to live that often, and that's a stealth freaking magician. Yes, I play a stealth freaking mage, and it's beautiful. It's just so good. I love it. I love every single second of it. Or a stealth magician, I mean a rogue magician, let's just say it like that.
Name Yasuke. I don't know about the other races
A rogue
in the game,
summoner,
but the Dark Elf starting town seems to be some sort of prison, and it's been overrun by a bunch of bigots.
A common thief. I knew it.
And then I put a bunch of people suffering from dry skin out of their misery, and so that Yasuke could be the ashiest person in town. And this is when I noticed the game has some sort of wonky feeling to it. It's hard to explain, but it feels retro, but new at the same time. Is it a bad thing? I don't think so at all. Could it use some polish? Yes, but honestly, I think it's part of the charm. You get to choose a few fights like this mini boss dude who has been training in his cell all alone like that guy from the movie Old Dog. After a badass cutscene that went you eventually end up on a beach, and this is when the game actually started to get me hooked, as nothing is better than that initial feeling you get from being kicked out into the open world and having to figure out what the hell to do and deciding which direction you want to go in. Kind of like how my madre did to me when I was 16. But what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. What separates a good open world game from a mediocre or bad one is how interesting and how many points of interest there are in the world. And this is where Tainted Grail excels the most in. No matter where you go or in what order you explore the map, you're gonna find some boss to kill or some handcrafted dungeon that has some unique loot that you can build your entire character around. But just a heads up, if you skip the beginning zones, you're probably gonna get your ass kicked. This is a huge design difference from the Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Skyrim, as in those games, enemies in the world actually level up with you. Bethesda designs their games in this way now, so that if you go back to lower level dungeons later on in the game, there will always be some sort of challenge, which I see why they went in this direction, and it makes sense on paper. But what it actually does is punish you for leveling up your character and takes away that sense of progression. I remember Squaresoft tried to pull this off in Final Fantasy VIII back in the day, and it's probably the most criticized part of the game. In Tainted Grail, you get the feeling of turning into an overpowered badass over time, making every piece of loot important. Here's a build I made called the Bonk. I found this two-handed hammer that gives each attack a 20% chance to call down lightning, dealing 120% damage to all enemies within a 5-meter radius. But get this, you can combine it with the perk that gives you 25% AoE weapon damage to your heavy attacks with two-handed weapons, letting you just walk around and just BAM!
BAM!
Smash! Another rare thing that this game does is it doesn't treat you like a moron. Games should let players make mistakes, even if it could ruin a quest or make the game harder. RPGs should never let important NPCs impossible to kill. I was testing out Tainted Grail, and I killed the main leader of Camelot, and the dude actually dropped a rare cloak that you can't get anywhere else in the game. You get rewarded for being an asshole. But on the other hand, you can also get punished. If you mess around too much, you might end up making NPCs attack you on sight and get blacklisted from a town entirely. Hell, I lost a whole arm for petting a giant frog, and no, you don't get it back. You can only use one arm for the rest of the game, meaning you can't use two-handed weapons, dual wield, or even a shield. Yasuke is almost the ultimate DEI character now. Black and disabled. The only thing missing is that there's no gay romance in Tainted Grail. I also gotta give a shout out to the magic system. I usually hate magic in RPGs, but this has to be the best implementation of magic and summoning I've seen in the genre so far. Not only can you equip a spell in each hand, but each spell has 2 different versions of it depending on if you hold down the button or just click them for a short cast. Hell, there's even a spell that lets you turn people into cheese, and then you use the cheese to level up your cooking. And if you're really sick, you can sell it back to the people in town and make a profit. I know I'm glazing the game a ton here, but let's take a look at some of the negatives.
Hey, it deserves the glazing, and I am happy that he actually mentions the negatives, because there are negatives. It's not perfect. It's just not perfect. But you know what? Fuck that. It's still so effing awesome. Okay.
But keep in mind, this is not a AAA game and it shouldn't be judged as one. It's only $45 on Steam right now. And you'll see some people saying that Act 2 and 3 start to fall off in quality, but the amount of content you get from Act 1 alone justifies the purchase in my opinion. Like I said before, the game feels a bit wonky. Some of the AI and pathing needs work, especially with the summons. But it looks like they're working on patching the game as quickly as possible to fix some of these issues. The game also stutters at times on high settings, which is weird because let's be real, this isn't some next-gen game pushing the limits of graphics. But on the flip side, I'm happy this isn't another Unreal Engine game. Some of the quests or places in the world do feel like they were impacted by the studio's limited budget. There was a quest that you test out some potion and apparently it turns you into a chicken, but they didn't even model one in, so you just gotta use your imagination. So how has the game been received? Currently it's very positive on Steam and it has an 81 on Metacritic. And I don't know if this is some conspiracy, but get your tinfoil hats back on, my dudes. When this game launched, hardly any gaming sites reviewed the game at all, and the companies that did review it posted their review to Metacritic weeks after launch. And I gotta call out IGN's bullshit here. When they reviewed that garbage game Dustborn, they gave it the usual 7 out of 10. But when it came to Tainted Grail, oh no, they gave it a damn 6. I'm starting to think it's because they list your characters as male or female, and they only added straight romance options to it. Whatever it is, hardly any of these gaming sites are writing articles about the game. And the only reason I could think of why they would do this is because it doesn't align with their ideologies.
That's definitively one reason, but as he himself said, it also has negatives. It's not the perfect game, definitively not. But it's a I'm gonna be honest, I just cannot be too harsh with them because the game, all in all, is fun. It is just fun. You cannot say anything different about it except it's freaking fun. And in my opinion, that's the most important thing. If you play it, you will have fun. As simple as that. There's nothing else to say. You will have fun.
And since Awakened Realms is an indie company, they aren't getting any kickbacks like they do for these AAA gaming studios. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Legacy media can't die soon enough, my dudes. Lastly, I gotta say that I know that we are all comparing the game to Skyrim because the Elder Scrolls has set the standard for quality in the genre. But like I said, Tainted Grail does enough to set it apart from the others and stand on its own. I just made a video about Bethesda and how they've been dumbing down their games over the years and adding modern day politics that you should check out. But I don't think it's right to call this game an Elder Scrolls clone. I actually think Bethesda should be the one taking notes for the next Elder Scrolls game. And while I think Skyrim is a better game overall, Tainted Grail surpasses it in many ways. And honestly, I had more fun here than I did with the Oblivion remaster. With such a small team and budget, I'm surprised Awakened Realms was able to pull this one off. If you haven't picked up the game yet, consider picking it up, or at least wish listing it on Steam, my dudes. We can't always complain about the bad games. We gotta support the ones that give us what we like.
True. So true. Yes. Complaining, everybody can complain all the time. That's easy. Sometimes say something positive about good games. That's something that, quite frankly, just sometimes is just not there. It should be. It should be, because you just have to support positive stuff. Simple as that.
Peace.
Then just doesn't fit. But yes, as he says, Scouter V is on point in every single point he makes. Okay, that just fair enough. It's just we just have to respect, go in, and show appreciation to the things that are done well. If we don't do that, then it's done. And as I said, this game, it does a lot of things correctly. Does it have bad qualities at some point? Yes, it does. It's not perfect. It's not. But it's, as I said, fun. It's just full on, 100%, 929 and 50 three times fun. Point. I just cannot say how much I wish for this game to succeed. Because at the end of the day, we need things like this. We just need things like this that are actually positive, that are going the correct way, that are doing freaking everything to actually do good things, and we should support that. And this game is just one of the things that do this. So, Acolytes, as it is, if you can, support this game. But otherwise, good night.